Hello, everyone. You are welcome to today's lesson. And in today's lesson, we are going to continue from where we left off. We are still looking at quadratic equation. In our previous lesson, lesson 1, you were introduced to the definition of quadratic equation and how to use the definition to identify or recognize equations of non-nature, meaning quadratic equations. Then I also walked you through, or you were walked through methods of solving quadratic equation. We looked at the very first method, which was the factorization method. In today's meeting, which is going to be lesson 2, we are going to look at what the second method, which is what's the quadratic formula. Okay, or by using the quadratic formula. Okay, so just as you can see on your screens, okay, you know quadratic formula. So it means here we need to be conversant with a particular formula. We need to know a formula and how to quote it. But apart from that, you know, formulas are supposed to make our work easy. Okay, the point is you need to know how to quote them correctly. But when you quote them correctly, don't just quote them. You quote them and you use them. Okay, so basically that's what we are going to do. I'm going to introduce you to the formula, teach you how to quote the formula, and after that, teach you how to make use of the formula in solving quadratic equations. So please stick and stay with me whilst I walk you through today's lesson. Okay, so by the quadratic formula, so this is the formula. Okay, so here I'm looking at a quadratic in X. Okay, so if it is in Y, then it means this must change to Y. If it is in A, this must change to A. If it is in Z, this must change. So it means your solution must be in what? In Z. But here, our quadratic is in X, assuming. So our solution must also be in X. So X will be equal to minus B plus or minus root of B squared minus 4AC all over what? Over 2A. Okay, so you know the A, B, and C, you know you will get it from the quadratic equation, the general or standard form of a quadratic equation, where A is the coefficient of S squared, okay, then B is the coefficient of X, and C is the constant. Okay, so if you're able to extract these constants A, B, and C, it's just a matter of quoting this formula, substituting, then you simplify. So let's look at the steps. Write the equation in the standard form. So you know the standard form. Everything on one side equated to 0. That is AS plus BS plus C. Did I say AS? AS squared plus BS plus C is equal to 0. That's the standard form. Remember yesterday. Then 2. Compare the equation, so your resultant equation, the equation after writing it in the standard form, everything on one side equated to 0. Okay, compare it with this general to extract your A, B, and C. So compare the equation with AS squared plus BS plus C equal to 0 and find the values of A, B, and C. Then the third step, substitute the values into the quadratic formula. So this is the formula. Okay, then after that, after substitution, what do? You simplify your results. So basically, we have 4 steps to subject, every question through. Sometimes the first step will not be necessary because the equation will come in the standard form. Okay, so quickly, let's go and look at our first, worked example. Okay, so let's look at worked example. Okay, the worked examples that we have here. So solve the following equation, if possible, by using the quadratic formula. Okay, so as usual, let's see how best we can deal with this question in terms of your presentation. So please take note, your presentation is equally important. Okay, in terms of, so as your understanding. So what do we do? Solution, that's what we write first. In this case, we read question and underline salient part, if any. So we are supposed to use the quadratic formula. So it means if you use any other approach, you'll be marked down. Other than the quadratic formula, you'll be marked down. So now we are asked to solve every equation usually, you solve. So let's keep the solve. Then after that, what do? We write solution. Do we have any major question number? No. Minor question number? Yes. So I write the minor question number A. A, what are we giving? We are giving x squared, minus 5x, plus 4 is equal to 0. So this is what we have. Okay, so the first step, remember we said we need to write the equation in the standard form, just as the first step of what the factorization says. Okay, so what do? We are now going to see. So obviously this equation, you have it in the standard form. Everything on one side equated to 0, with your s squared term being the first term, your s term being the second term, and your constant term being the third term. So the first step already catered for, so not necessary here. We move on to the second step. And the second step, we said we are supposed to compare this one with what? The standard form equation of, quadratic equation, which is the as squared plus bs plus c, to extract the values of the a, b, and c. Okay, so at this point, what do? Okay, however, I am going to deal with it this way, just as I always tell my students. In math, okay, this is the advice I give to my students. Any question that involves the formula, after extracting the information, quote the formula and let the formula guide you as to what to do. Okay, so by that, this is what I mean. I've extracted the information. I know that here I am going to rely on the formula. Okay, so the formula, I'm going to quote it. And if I quote it, I will listen to the formula. And that's what I mean by, okay, let the formula guide you. Listen to the formula. The formula will tell you the parameters you are looking for and how to proceed from there. So here, I'm going to write by the quadratic formula. Oops, let me clear that. Okay, by the quadratic formula, as you mature, you can quote it straight away. This is the first example. You know my style of. So quadratic formula. You know, because this equation is in x, you get x to be equal to, my x is not very ugly. Okay, so x is equal to, so we are going to quote it. And formulas is not always that you try to memorize. Sometimes you have to work with them frequently, and unconsciously the formulas will stick. Okay, so here x will be equal to minus b plus or minus root of what? B squared minus 4ac, which yesterday in our first lesson we said, okay, we call this the discriminant. All over is the whole of this over, okay, 2a. Okay, so with this, we know that we would need, okay, the values of what? A, B, and C. A, B, and C. So we need to compare what we have here, the given equation, which is in the standard form, to the usual standard form equation. Okay, so this time around, I'm going to write comparing. But as you move along, I will take out some of the steps that when you take out, it will not be costly. You will give us what the ideal presentation. Okay, so I will call this equation 1. Okay, and write comparing. Okay, 1 with, okay, our general or standard form of a quadratic equation, as squared plus bx plus c, okay, is equal to 0. Okay, if you compare, comma, we are going to get a. A is the coefficient of the s squared here, so a will be equal to 1. Remember, I've told you this will not be the ideal. So this is the first example. So I want to better your understanding here before we take out what we can take out later. So b will be the coefficient of x. So b is equal to -5. And okay, c is equal to the constant there, which is 4. So at this point, I can write, this implies that I will now come and substitute. My x will be equal to minus b. So minus b, b is -5, so -5. I put it in bracket. Okay, then plus or minus root of b squared, b is -5. You put it in bracket squared. Okay, minus 4ac, so 4. What is your a? You also put it in bracket. A is 1. What is your c? C is 4. Okay, please, I hope you are following. All over 2a, and 2a is what? Is 1. Okay, please, I hope you are following.
Yes, please.
Okay, very good. All right. So at this point, after substitution, what do? You just simplify. So we are going to write equal to. So next step, I write close to the margin, remember. So equal to, then minus 5 will give me, okay, plus 5. Then plus or minus root of, okay, minus 5 squared will give me 25. Okay, then minus 4 times 1 times 4, that will give me 16. All over, okay, 2 times 1, which is 2. So I move on to my next step, which will be equal to, okay, so what do I write? 5 again, plus or minus root of what I have under the root sign. I can still simplify. And that will give me 25 minus 16. That will give us 9. Am I right? All over, okay, 2. So if you continue, we are going to get, okay, 5 plus or minus root of 9, we all know is what? Is 3. Okay, all over what? Over 2. So here, this is where you have to be very careful. Likely or most likely we are supposed to get 2 values. Okay, so this is how you interpret this. You don't end here. So this means I am going to get, forgive me, let me, okay, do this. Okay, so my next step, this will be equal to, so I'm going to get 5 plus 3 over 2, or remember it's plus or minus, so it will be 5 minus 3 on 2. So this will give me 5 plus 3 on 2 is 8 on 2, okay, or 5 minus 3 on 2 will give you 2 on 2. So this simplifies to 4, this simplifies to what? 1. So I'm going to get, therefore, my x will be equal to 4 or 1. My professor, are you with me?
Yes, please.
Okay, so at this point, this will be it in terms of what? The solution to the first one. And as we move on, like I said, I will take out some of the steps. Okay, take out a lot of the English and leave you. So remember, okay, if you have your notes with you, okay, check what we had. It is this same equation that you solved using the method of factorization, our first method. So go back and check. I want briefly, quickly, okay, and check whether when we use the factorization method, we ended up getting the same, okay, solution. Check. Did you get the same solution? If you have your
34.
notes, we had the same solution. Is that not it? Okay, so this goes to say that anytime you solve any equation by factorization, quadratic formula, for now, you end up getting the same result. So irrespective of the method that you use, you get the same result. And you can see that if you look at the volume of work here, okay, and that of the factorization, you can see that this one we wrote more. I hope you agree with me. Though we ended up getting the same result, we wrote more here. So that's why I said, if the method of factorization, okay, if the quadratic expression is factorable, okay, go for that method. It will always be ideal to save you time and space. It is only when factorization fails that we resort to the other two, which now one, the quadratic formula. The other one, which is the method of completing of squares, we are yet to do that. So for now, if factorization fails, it's a quadratic formula that you can use. You cannot use any other formula until we do the other one. Okay, but even between the two, okay, this quadratic formula and the method of completing a square, if factorization fails, my advice will always be go for the quadratic formula. So the method of completing a squares, unless you are restricted, okay, don't use it. All right, so quickly, let's move on to, okay, our, okay, second question, the B. Okay, so B, what are we giving? We are giving, so we extract, giving x squared minus 7x, okay, is equal to what? Minus 10. Okay, first step, as for this one, your equation, take it to the standard form. Okay, before you go and quote the formula. Or you can still quote the formula, but and later take it to the standard form. But I would advise that take it to the standard form, because this time around we are going to compare mentally. We won't write comparing this and that. No. We'll compare mentally to extract the values and go and substitute. That's all. So this implies that, okay, I cannot work with this one directly, unlike the first one. So I have to make sure everything is on one side. So x squared minus 7x, okay, plus 10 is equal to 0. So at this point, I quote the formula. Okay, but, all right. Okay, so let me be smart here. I want to be smart. So I'll write therefore, my equation is in x. So I'll write x, or let me quote the formula. Maybe next time I will do that. This is the second one, so I shouldn't jump the gun. All right. Oops. Okay, so let me take my time. Okay, I shouldn't rush you through. So the quadratic formula, by the quadratic formula, okay, it's in x, so our result must be in x. So x is equal to minus b plus or minus root of b squared minus 4ac. Okay, the whole of this over 2a. Hello, are you with me?
Yes, please.
Okay, so now I am going to compare and extract. So this time around, right, but my a is equal to, so I'm comparing. I know that the a is the coefficient of s squared. Do you agree?
Yes.
Okay, so which will be 1. Okay, b is the coefficient of x. So listening to this formula, I know I need the values of a, b, and c. So I'm now going to find the values before I substitute. So I will get a coefficient of x here is minus 7. Okay, the coefficient, that the c here, okay, will be your constant. So, and c will be equal to what? Will be equal to 10. All correct, my professors. Okay, so now that I am going to substitute, I can draw my conclusion. So I will write, okay, therefore, my x will be equal to, so I go and substitute minus, okay, or you can write this implies. If you write implies, then later you have to draw your conclusion. If you write therefore here, then it means you have to, okay, more or less, your conclusion is embedded in your method, so you don't draw your conclusion again. So minus b is minus 7, so you put it in bracket. Then plus or minus, okay, then root of b squared, so it will be minus 7 squared. Okay, then minus 4ac. So for what is our a? A is 1 and c is 10. Make sure you extend this to cover all the terms there. So the whole of this over 2a. So it will be 2 times 1 again, because a is 1. So this will be equal to, right close to the margin. Minus 7 will give me positive 7. Then plus or minus root of, okay, I'll get minus 7 squared is 49. Okay, then minus, okay, 4 times 1 times 10, that will give me 40. Okay, the whole of this over 2a, and 2 times 1, which is what? Okay, 2. Okay, so now we move on. This will be equal to, okay, 7 plus or minus root of, now you know, 49 minus 40 will give you 9, all over 2. Okay, so at this point we split 7 plus 9. Oh, sorry, I have not done the root of, forgive me. I haven't done the root of the, what do you call it, 9. So I'm not done yet. I can't split now. Because what you have under the square root sign is a perfect square we can get. If it wasn't a perfect square, then, okay, we would have. Okay, so this will give you plus or minus. Oh, did I write 9 again? 3. Okay, so plus or minus 3 all over 2. So in effect, we are going to get, okay, 7 plus 3 all over 2, or 7 minus 3 all over 2. So this gives us what? 7 plus 3, which is 8 over 2, or 7 minus 3, which is what? 4 on 2. So you end up getting, 4 here, then 2. Okay, so 2. Yes, please. Have I done something wrong? Oh, it's 10. What is happening is because my mind is not here, but in case I can see that. So forgive me anyway. Okay, so that shouldn't be. So it's supposed to be 10. Okay, so I need to clear this one as well. Oops. Okay, so let me clear this before. Okay, so at least it shows that you are following. Okay, so 10. Okay, so which will give us what? Okay, 5 here. So it means therefore, okay, x is equal to what? 5 or 2. Is my point well made?
Yes, please.
Okay, Prof. Kojo, you joined late. Are you following? Hello, are you following? Prof. Kojo, can you hear me? Unfortunately, I cannot hear you. Okay, so I'm going to move on. So you can see that this solution is better than the first one because you wrote less. The next one, I will handle it more maturely. So that it means that would be the best way I would want you to, solve yours as well. Okay, or present your solution. So let's move on to that of what? Of the C.
I have a question.
Okay.
I wanted to ask why the conclusion says further within the problem.
Why?
We concluded further within the problem of the question.
Yes, you can do that when you realize that whatever that you are going to write here, okay, is what you conclude with. So you can see that all along it will be s is equal to s is equal to s is equal to. Okay, so you can write therefore. So this means therefore s is equal to the final result, which is your conclusion. Like I said, if you don't want to write therefore, no issues. Okay, you can write implication here or ignore. In that case, you have not drawn your conclusion. So you will now come and write therefore s is equal to 5 or 2. But for us, because we have therefore here, and this will be therefore this is equal to this, which is equal to all that we have here up to the last one. Our conclusion is embedded in what? In our steps. So in this case, we don't draw any conclusions again. Is that okay? Okay, all right. Okay, so quickly, let's move on to the next, question. So C. Okay, so C, what are we giving? We are giving, x squared is equal to 5x, minus 4. Okay, so this implies that you take it to the standard form because you know that you compare. And if you cannot compare this one with the general one or the standard AS squared plus because you'll be comparing oranges and apples. With the one that you are going to compare, everything should be on one side equated to 0. But this one, you don't have it in that form. So take it to that form. So s squared, move these two terms to the side. So minus 5x plus 4. Okay, is equal to 0. So at this point, quote your formula. Okay, so I'll write, x. I can choose not to write by the quadratic formula. Okay, and just quote the formula. Okay, so I'm going to write x is equal to minus b plus or minus root of, so I'm quoting the formula, b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So here I will not write but a is equal to this, b is equal to this. I'm going to write that as a rough work. Okay, so I will extract my a is equal to 1. Okay, b is equal to minus 5. Okay, so you can see that I'm doing it on the area where I do my rough work. Then c is equal to what? It's equal to 4. Okay, so I just go and substitute. So I'm going to get equal to, so the s will be equal to minus b, so b is minus 5. My professors, I hope you are following.
Yes, please.
Okay, so then plus or minus root of b squared, so minus 5 okay, put it in bracket, squared. All your substitutions for A, B, and C, you can see that I always put it in brackets. Then 4, I'm substituting for A. So A is still 1, I'll put it in bracket. Okay, then the C is 4. Okay, extend, then all over, okay, 2A. So 2, I'm substituting for A is 1, I put it in bracket. So this will give me, I come and remove the bracket, minus, minus. So that will give me plus 5. Plus or minus root of 5 squared, minus 5 squared will give me 25. Then minus 16, this will be minus 4 times 1 times 4, so 16. All over, okay, 2. So I will move on. This gives me 5 plus or minus root of 25 minus 16 will give you, again, 9. 9. In actual fact, you can see that it is this equation that we have here, the same equation but put in a different form. This time around, these two were brought to the other side. So we end up getting the same result. So when I got here, I could have told you to go and look at the solution for the other one and continue. But because this was the first one in the solution, we compared, and I wanted to present the solution maturely here. That's the more reason why I continue. Other than that, I would have asked you to go and use the explanation for the A, because it's now the same equation, obviously. So 9 all over 2. So now I can work on this. So I cannot, okay, separate. So 5 plus or minus root of 9, which we all know is, why am I writing 9? It's 3. Okay, so be careful. Maybe it's a way of God telling you when you get there, you should also be careful. So 3 all over what? Over 2. So at this point, I split. So I will get 5 plus 3 all over 2, or 5 minus 3 all over 2. So this gives me 8 over 2. Then this will give me 2 over 2. So I will end up getting, okay, 4 here and get y here, 1 here. But now, take note. You can see that so far there is no therefore. However, I can be smart and put therefore here. In that case, you won't draw your conclusion. But if you didn't write therefore, okay, and you can put therefore x is equal to, then continue. Okay, in that case, you don't draw your conclusion, but we don't have therefore. So I am going to draw my conclusion. Therefore, but I wouldn't deal with it that way, because it's like I'm going to repeat. Okay, but just for consistency's sake, so that you have flexibility. Therefore, x is equal to 4 or 1. Okay, otherwise, if you put therefore here, where you have your x, you cannot write therefore here without the x. So you can't write therefore is equal to no. If you write therefore here, then the s should come again before the equal to. In that case, you don't come and write your last statement here. Point well made, my professors.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
very
sir.
good. So at this point, I have about, 4 minutes I'm going to take one of the questions. Okay, so let's look at the E. Okay, I wanted us to do, let's see whether time will allow us to. So let's do the E, then I will guide you to do the F. Okay, all right. So, and that will be it for today. Quickly, so okay, so I have one more space. So E, what are we giving? We are giving x squared minus 9 is equal to 0. Even with after E, you should be able to deal with it. The rest. Here, everything on one side equated to 0, so it's in the standard form. Okay, so quote your formula. So here, if you like, when you are quoting your formula, you can write but x must be equal to, so flexibility, quote the formula, minus b plus or minus root of b squared minus 4ac, extend this, all over 2a. It's only the side that is over 2a. Don't extend it. Don't let it go beyond the equal to. Okay, so at this point, I know I need my a, b, and c. So my rough work, okay, a is equal to, okay, the other one, your rough work, in fact, I should have cancelled. I forgot to tell you that. You strike it out. Every rough work must be cancelled. Okay, but you cancel in such a way that it will still be readable. So a is equal to A is 1, the coefficient of x squared. What will be b? What will be the value of b? Quickly.
BB.
0.
0, because there is no term in x for you to extract its coefficient. And what will be c?
-9.
-9. Very good. We did this when we were checking the possibility of factorization, so it shouldn't be a problem. So at this point, I'm matured. So therefore, my x will be equal to minus my b. B is 0. So I put it in bracket. Plus or minus root of b squared, so 0 squared. Okay, minus 4ac, so 4. What is my a? A is what? Again, 1. Okay, what is my c? -9. Please take note. All over your 2a. So 2, your a is 1. Okay, so at this point, this is going to be equal to -0, so you can choose not to write it. So you let me write it 0. Don't write -0. It's either 0. Okay, so plus or minus, then root of, okay, 0 squared you know is 0. Then this will give you minus times minus will give you positive. 4 times 9. 36. Okay, all over, okay, 2. Is that clear? So this will be equal to, okay, so let's do, okay, I'm going to just write plus or minus, I won't write the 0. Then this will give you root of 36 all over 2. Okay, so if you continue, you are going to get plus or minus 6 all over 2. So if you are splitting, it will be 6 over 2 or minus 6 over 2. I hope you are following my professors. Which gives us 3 or minus 3. And if you like, go and check. When you use the factorization, we add the same result. So here, my therefore, I have therefore here, so I don't have to draw my conclusion. Please take note. So this will be it for solution to this particular one. Okay, so take note. So on that note, okay, I will leave you with this as your assignment. Okay, so you need to get the same result as you had using the factorization. So thank you very much for your attention and for your time. God bless us all.